All right.
Let me accept that. There we go.
Perfect. Oop. All right. So the first question is the easiest one. Is just if you could state your first and last name, spell it for us, and then your position.
Dr. Jennifer, Jennifer, Calogero, Calogero, and then Assistant State Veterinarian with Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development.
Perfect. So, I have a list of questions that I just wanted to go down, and like I said, it's just, just to comfort people, I feel like, because after talking to a couple people about this, I feel like a lot of this stuff is getting kind of, before we know exactly what's going on, I feel a lot of social media is kicking off, putting a lot of stuff out there. So when did this originally come to your guys' attention?
So we, Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development Animal Industry Division, received a report from a veterinarian in northern Michigan. This was approximately, it was a couple weeks ago, one and a half to 2 weeks ago, who saw a dog with parvo-like symptoms, so primarily vomiting and diarrhea. In addition, we received concerns from animal control agencies, again in that same area within northern Michigan, with dogs with those similar parvo-like symptoms. That the causes were undetermined. And so that's what initially was the stem as to leading us down this situation.
And I know that the virus itself has been around for some time. Now, is it alarming to see so many cases of this since we do have a vaccination for it?
So canine parvovirus is we'll touch base probably maybe a little bit on canine parvovirus first. So that is a highly contagious virus of dogs. It is commonly seen in Michigan. It is not abnormal to see parvovirus in Michigan. We see it throughout the entire state, not just in northern Michigan, throughout the entire state. However, it is not reportable to our office. So we have a list of reportable diseases or conditions that veterinarians need to let us know if they diagnose one of those diseases. Parvovirus, however, is not reportable. So we really do not have a good indication as to how many parvovirus cases we truly have, just because it's not reportable. The virus can affect any dog, but the unvaccinated dogs and puppies are the most at risk for the serious illness. And you are correct, there is a vaccine and it is effective. But again, we don't really have a true gauge as to how many cases there truly are, just because it's not reportable.
I think I'll touch base, but how can people prevent their dogs from getting it?
So vaccination. Like we said, there is a highly effective vaccine available to protect dogs and puppies against this disease. So we highly recommend that dogs and puppies are vaccinated as soon as they can. So work with your local veterinarian in order to get your dog vaccinated when appropriate. In addition, making sure to clean up after your pet when you're walking them out in public. And if any dog in your household does start to exhibit any signs or symptoms, try to isolate that animal away from any other dog or pet that you have in your house.
And, is there like an age? I know you said puppies especially, but is there an age range or gender? Is there any factors that, it targets specifically?
So again, unvaccinated dogs are most at risk. Typically, dogs are vaccinated as puppies when puppies get their vaccines. And so I say puppies, dogs or puppies, just because if they're not vaccinated, then they're at higher risk for serious illness. So there's not a specific breed or age per se. It's mostly if they're unvaccinated as to what will put them in the category that would put them for greater risk for a serious illness.
And so, and how deadly is it normally to unvaccinated and vaccinated animals?
So it is again a highly contagious virus. Symptoms vary. I mean, it primarily affects causing GI issues, so vomiting and diarrhea, but it can lead to death. And so again, it's going to be those unvaccinated ones that are going to put them in the greater category for the serious illness and or greater risk for potential death. But again, it's working with your veterinarian in order to make sure that you vaccinate as quickly as possible or as early as possible within the dog's life.
And now, if your dog does get it, what steps can they take after their dog gets it to try to help them?
So working with your veterinarian, again, and because it's going to be having that relationship with your local veterinarian in order to make sure that the dog is being cared for and receiving the appropriate amount of supportive care in order to help with the signs and symptoms that the dog is developing. So again, if the dog is starting to exhibit any signs of parvovirus, such as vomiting and diarrhea, give your veterinarian a call and let them know and work with them in order to determine what would be best, because every dog, it's a case-by-case situation as to how severe the illness is. And again, if possible, separating them if they are in a home with other pets, separating the sick one from the healthy ones.
And and then also, I mean, as we were talking about, uh, especially social media, it seems like they're and also an article that was posted on a very credible or a news site also is saying it's like an unidentified illness, and I think it's causing a lot of people to go, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" Is it a true cause of concern for people, or is this kind of being blown out of proportion?
So we are still in the very early stages of this investigation. I think the part that's confusing individuals is that many of these dogs that are exhibiting these signs or symptoms that we are within, northern Michigan in particular right now, they're testing negative for the disease at their local veterinary clinic. And so that's what I think is causing the confusion, because they're still exhibiting the parvo-like symptoms, but they're testing negative for the disease. So again, we're still very early in this investigation, but we are working very closely with our partners. Again, the local veterinary clinics, we're talking to them quite frequently, in addition to the animal control officers and Michigan State University Veterinary Diagnostic Lab. So we have submitted samples to Michigan State University Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, or MSU VDL, and a few of the samples that we have submitted did end up testing positive for canine parvovirus. However, we do have more results still pending, and we still have more to learn regarding the situation.
Perfect. And I think there's just one last question that I was looking over my notes. I read something that it's something, and then also in your press release, it also said that, it could stay in the soil and on areas for almost up to a year. What ways could people take care of, obviously like the feces and the vomiting and stuff? What substance can they use to clean it, or just try to do their best to get rid of it?
Yeah, it's a very hardy virus. And so picking up after your dog, especially feces, as soon as they defecate, it would be important to clean that up in addition to any vomiting or diarrhea. And again, trying to take those steps early on in order to remove it as quickly as possible and not letting it sit in the environment or the grass or in the home would be beneficial in trying to decrease that virus load.
Perfect. Now, is there anything that you think I might have, didn't touch on, or is there anything that you think the community should know as a whole?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing to remember is that we are still in the early stages of this investigation. There's no need to panic at this point. I think the most important thing is to continue to work with your veterinarian and vaccinate, vaccinate, vaccinate. We do have a highly effective vaccine against parvovirus. So working to make sure that your dog or puppy is vaccinated as early as possible within their life will be very important. And again, we're taking all the steps to work with our partners, like we talked about, such as local veterinarians and animal control agencies and MSU Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, to continue to learn more about the situation.
All right. Well, I appreciate it again. Once again, I know I'm sure you have a really busy schedule. So I just appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your day, and hopefully hopefully you thought we were very informative and picked the right questions to ask. So again, thank you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Bye, Kyle.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.